what's up, buddy?
What's happening, old dude?
How are you?
Not bad.
Yeah,
Sit,
you doing all right?
enjoying.
You're off. You're off work now. You're not working outside, are you?
Oh no! I'm relaxing. Doing
Nice.
laundry, actually.
I greatly thank you and appreciate you taking time out and coming on the show with me. It's always good to talk and to see you. And you got a lot of good information to share, but a lot of people need to hear what you have to say, especially when it comes down to what you are seeing at the new car store dealership level as far as the new cars and some of the problems, etc. So this is my friend Mark. Mark worked for me for a number of years. He is a master technician. He works for Stellantis, formerly known as Dodge Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram. Mark has been doing this now for 165 years, roughly.
166.
Sorry, I was close. But he's been at the big car store now for 19 years as a master technician, and I'll just let Mark take it from there, and we'll go from there and see what
Oh, feel
people
free.
have to say.
Yeah, if you got questions, ask them. I'm not afraid of questions. So,
Oh, I know.
but yeah, what was it? Hell, I've known you like 20 years or more. Actually, more. You
Yeah,
actually gave me. Yeah, you actually gave me my first shop at managing a shop.
and you did perfect.
Then you fired me. No, I'm kidding.
No, no, no,
no,
no, no, no, no, no, no. You found a better opportunity,
I
and
had a better opportunity and I took it. That you know, I just went. I had to do what I had to do to further my career. And thanks to the shop I work for now, they've sent me to a ton of school. There's not a whole lot that I haven't seen. I mean, everything from the loose gas cap to why is the number four piston in the trunk? I mean, a lot of the big problems I see now are in our diagnostics. We actually have some flow charts, and this may be possible for Ford, Chevy, any major manufacturer, where they're telling technicians to follow these charts. And as we go through step by step by step, it'll say replace this part. Well, after that, it says, well, if this doesn't correct the current condition, then put this part on. And I know that fumes customers, and we have no control of that. I mean, this is coming straight from the big guys in Detroit somewhere. I don't know where. Um, a lot of tools get shipped to us from Chrysler. Um, a lot of specialty tools like these new Hurricane engines. If you want to time one of those, good luck. There is a master set you have to use, and it involves, I think, between 4 and 5 different tools just to hold things still. It's kind of like the old Ford 2.0s where you needed the cam
the cam lock.
lock,
Yep,
and all that, just so you
yep.
can set that washer. You know, um, they're getting more and more technical every day. Now we have the advent of facial recognition and stuff like that. We actually had our first one roll through 2 weeks ago with the the whole camera deal, and it was
Speaking of
nuts.
camera, I didn't know if yours was purposely off or whether or not you knew
No,
it was.
I don't think it's off.
Okay,
It's
you
showing
got
up.
it. All right, it's not showing up on this end, which is no big deal because we can hear you just fine. If you don't want a camera up, you don't have to. It's oh,
No,
nice.
I enabled it.
And there again, sometimes StreamYard is extremely strange. So on this sensor, or I guess they from the black box, which has been around since airbags have been around to originally monitor their deployment, et cetera, as data, to what we have now, basically the same type of technology, the ERD, the engine or EDR, engine data module, or a
Recorder. Yeah.
recorder, different names for them, and basically those are useful as far as crashes go. But what you're talking about is just literally surveillance.
Yeah, surveillance in your face. Chrysler's, I think, is in the ITC, integrated, where your speedo is.
The instrument cluster,
and you can't really see it. It's down by the odometer.
okay.
I think a couple of the manufacturers have them up higher, up by the visors in the upper center stack, stuff like that, and that's where they get all their stuff. The adaptive cruise control sees where you're going, where you're not going. I mean, it's great. Are you there?
Oh, I'm here. I don't know whether or not it's your phone or just a poor connection. No, I'm here. I promise. It's your phone, or whether or not you're near enough to Wi-Fi may or may not be affecting how well we're getting reception right now, because I've got no picture of you again.
My phone's on, my camera's on, everybody's on.
No, I believe you. I totally believe you. The only other thing that I would say that might work is to kick yourself back out and come back in. It's also very possible. StreamYard, do better. For as much money as you make off me and everybody else that buys your product, I expect it to do better than this.
It seems we are experiencing technical difficulties.
Yeah, the best thing that I found over the course of dealing with this is, just kick yourself out and come right back in. And we'll get back to Mark here in just a second. I apologize. Technical difficulties when you go live. This is just part of the nature of the beast, as they say. But Mark will be back, and we'll get some great information from him. I'm curious to hear how the passenger monitoring system, or the PMS, as it's called, is working out. And as far as, like I said, the black box, if that's what you want to call it, ERD engine or EDR engine data recorder, EDM at stage. There we go. There you go.
Are you there?
Yeah.
I can't
see. I can see you. I can see. I am old. I'm super old. What are you talking about? Even if you put your glasses on, I'm still going to be old.
I got nothing.
Yeah, I can see.
Nod.
Yeah.
Say yes if you can see me.
Yes.
But you can't hear me.
Yes.
You can hear me, but I can't hear you. What?
Let's see. Let me try that. Let me try that. Let's see. That little button is on. All right. So now I should be able to do this. And can you hear me now? Either you're frozen, literally, or you're frozen. This is, it
may be my connection.
It's possible.
I'm not in the world's greatest place.
It's Blue Springs. What do you do? But we're going to make it work one way.
Everything was fine there for a minute, then it cut out.
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can't see you. So for whatever reason, whether it's, who knows?
Let me completely back out and see what happens.
Okay. No worries. I'll put that bad boy up right there. Mark's backing out, not in a weird way. But I do greatly appreciate everybody giving me and Mark the opportunity to earn your viewership, earn your subscription, hopefully, and to keep it. So I apologize about the technical difficulties. Certain things I have absolutely no control over. This just happens to be one of those things. And while we're figuring out the issues here with Mark, I can tell you from, I've been out of the industry, out of the field as far as working goes since I was injured. So 3+ years. When I had left the field originally, and like I said, not by choice, I'd still be doing exactly what I was doing, working on vehicles because I enjoyed doing it. I would still be doing it, but unfortunately, that wasn't what was in the cards. So now let's get Mark back on here. There we go.
No,
Good, isn't it?
are we back?
Yep.
I had to reset everything.
Yeah.
Now I'm up.
So
Now I'm up. Now I'm up close
So
and
we-
personal.
no, yeah, you're all over it. So we got surveillance now. Surveillance in vehicles.
Wow, I'm in a shit spot for connection or something.
It happens. It happens.
I'm at my mom.
Oh, don't forget to tell Mom I said, hey.
She's in
And-
California.
Oh, nice. Well, maybe nice. I hope it's nice. Let me
Yeah,
throw
my aunt kidnapped her. I haven't seen her for a month.
Hey, what's going on, Christy?
Hi, sweetie. For all of you, that is my wife.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in, Christy. And while we're working through the technical difficulties, it's one of those things. Like I said, it happens. It happens.
I've been in the sound and show industry for a long time, and yeah, technical difficulties are not fun. But yeah, back to the surveillance thing. With all the AI that's going on, really, we don't receive a whole lot of training on it, on how to fix it.
Do you think that's because they themselves really don't have that well of an idea or a clue on how to fix it?
I don't think the software is where it needs to be. I mean, I'm not a big fan of AI anyway, but I got to learn how to fix it.
And we're dealing with, what was it, 10 miles of wiring in the vehicle now?
So, at least that minimum. I mean, there are some vehicles where we have an average of up to 32 computers. It's crazy.
And if one module is finicky, failing, or simply malfunctioning, it's going to affect each and every one of those modules associated with it to a point.
Well, it depends on what we have called a bus system. And it's broken up into several different bus systems. Yeah, CAN interior, high speed, CAN C. There's a bunch of other ones. CAN FD now. And on the newer chargers, CAN FD can have up to 8 FD bus legs. It's like, which one went down? I have no idea.
In the dealership, you guys have also got a new tool. You guys were with the StarScan, the DRB3, and now there's a new one.
It's actually not new. It's about 10 years old. It's called YTech 2.
YTech 2, the newest of the three, I suppose.
Yes.
But you still need all three of them.
No. With the newer cars, YTech 2 is compatible with cars back to 2005, mid 2005. Because we had YTech and then we had YTech 2. YTech 1 was kind of the test bed. And now we have YTech 2, and it seems to be working pretty good. So
Everything with the exception of helping with AI diagnostics.
no, it's included. They
Really?
they're always updating the system, so we always get into stuff where it's like, okay, it's not there, and then it's there. So I mean, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, it's actually a pretty efficient system.
So
But
25 years ago, when we're looking at cars and we're working on cars, the main things that we're doing a lot of the times, we're doing water pumps, we're replacing brake pads, or we're doing maintenance, we're doing the basic stuff. 25, 26 years later, we are now working on consumer electronics with wheels on them.
yes, exactly. That's exactly it. You have your infotainment centers, uh, integrated center stacks that have your Bluetooth, your Google, your road maps, plus your radio, satellite radios, and it's usually a box that's about 6.5 inches by 5 inches, maybe, that sits inside your dash. That big screen you see on the front, that's all it is a screen.
That's it.
That's it. And then you're looking for the actual radio, and it's buried deep in the dash. And
I
some of the reset procedures are basic, like 2000s basic. Unplug the battery and plug it back in. Sometimes
pump the accelerator 3 times in 5 seconds.
Yeah. that's
Old school
that's
stuff.
your oil light. And now some of the newer cars, specifically the Ram, we have to check the oil level with our scanner.
No dipstick.
No dipstick. And I think that's kind of unfair to the consumer, because it's taking away that one little nuance that they think they can have control of.
Right. You should be able to check what your fluid level is, whether it's oil or transmission fluid, power steering fluid, etc.
What was it? Early 2000s, they took the transmission dipstick out of like 300s, Chargers, Challengers.
Yep.
And you had to get a special tool to put in that hole and then read it with the scanner off the temperature of the transmission.
Based on that, yeah. I remember there was all kinds of weird stuff. They had the cylinder deactivation and the active fuel management in the early 2000s with the Chryslers.
We still have it.
And you guys are doing a lot better with it than GM. I'll tell you that, as much as I hate to say it.
And the funny part about that is GM or Chrysler, we're still having lifter problems, chewing up camshafts.
Well, you got a twofold issue with that, and just as well as I do, from where we were in engines to where we are now, we have a lot of direct injection engines, whereas in the 90s, we had a lot of indirect injection engines. What is the difference, you ask? Well, with your direct injection engines, you've got fuel going directly into the combustion chamber and combusting. It's a much higher compression ratio. It's more fuel efficient. It'll give you more horsepower. But what it does not account for is for the fact that when you had an indirect injection engine and you had that cavity, okay, you would inject fuel there, which would mix with air. And before it got to the excuse me, injection chamber, it would already be as efficient as it's going to be. Whether it was throttle body injection, fork-tuned injection, it doesn't matter. It's all different forms of indirect injection, and they worked fine. And the most important thing they did was lubricate that intake valve. Otherwise, with direct injection engines, you get nothing but carbon buildup on that intake valve. It sticks. You got big problems.
Oh, yeah. And like you were saying about the indirect injection, people don't realize that usually got pumped into the intake manifold as it was sucking the air through.
Exactly.
Like you said, the direct injection is right in the cylinder. I think the first company that actually did that was Volkswagen, wasn't it?
They started it out with the GDIs, and then, everybody, an indirect engine in the 90s, early 2000s, even in mid 2000s was kind of standard. Then we started going to a smaller engine that was expected to produce adequate power, But in order to do so, you had to meet EPA regulations. And in order to get that extra boost, that extra horsepower, the only way to do it was to add a turbo.
Now, the company, the people that actually forced the EPA into that is a company called CARB, California Air Research Board.
And if anybody doesn't know this, let me just say this real quick. People may not understand this, but there's something called the California Standard. The California Standard basically means that whatever a manufacturer is producing, they don't want to make two different versions of it to comply with one state's super strict regulations and rules, whereas other states will be lax. They will just produce one car based out of the necessities of the seventh highest economy in the world, which is the state of California here in the United States, and everything will be based off that, so they don't have to make multiple versions for each and every state, etc. So I'll let you continue. I just wanted to add that in there.
With a note to that, California has a completely different fuel mix than any other state in the country.
Correct.
They get their fuel from somewhere else. I mean, that's a whole nother mess.
And that's we're not even going into fuel versus top tier fuel, which is totally different than what they have in California.
Yeah, and supposedly their fuel is top tier. Why not
mandated top tier due to emission standards, etc. So it's like super top tier fuel.
Yeah, exactly. And then they send you these special tools to test to make sure your fuel's, I think it's called a refractometer or something like that.
Refractometer.
Yeah, where you can actually test your fuel and see how pure it is, stuff like that. A lot of the fuels with ethanol, don't recommend them.
No.
Ethanol attracts moisture.
Yes.
You know, and people are going, oh, ethanol, get me farther. No, it attracts moisture in your fuel system.
It is hydroscopic to a degree, yes.
And the seals are completely different. Excuse me. I mean, each state varies in their fuel mix. There's no way around that. California's the most strict. We even have TSBs between summer mix blend as opposed to winter mix blend. And for those who don't know, TSB is a technical service bulletin that we get so that we can read this material and go, oh, that helps give me another direction to go. You know, so when people are saying, you know, my car's not getting better as much fuel economy or it's not running right, it's because some states do change their mix, you know, and they want to yell at the manufacturer because of that. And it's not really the manufacturer, it's the fuel companies that do it. Those are because they put additives into it to keep any fuel from gelling, stuff like that, you know, and it used to be fuel gelling was a thing of the past. Your current fuels, don't let them sit in your fuel tank for 6 months. It's not good. It'll go bad quick. It'll smell like turpentine.
Yeah.
You know, like unleaded fuels from the 60s, 70s, early 80s, that unleaded fuel, you can let it sit for a year. And fire
it was fantastic. They got rid of unleaded fuel. Just another history fact for everybody. Just didn't mean to interrupt. 1996 was the last year of unleaded fuel in the United States.
Yep. If you build an old car, like anything hot rod, you're going to have your valves redone and
leaded valve seats and everything else.
You know, and it's kind of a pain in the butt, but because of today's fuel standards, you got to get it done. Otherwise, you're not going to have a car that's going to run with the shit.
No.
You know, and one thing that I've noticed, a lot of companies now are producing diagnostic equipment, but it's not like our old diagnostic stuff like the brick we had.
We had two choices back then. You either had the red brick or you had the Genesis.
Yeah.
that was it. Unless you worked for the dealership, then you had a Rotunda. If you were at Ford, you had your Tech 2 at GM or your DRB or your Star Scan at Chrysler.
I still have access to a brick.
I still have my brick. I don't know what I'll do with it, but I got it.
I got a 92 Grand Prix that'll hook up to just fine. Yes.
You got probably the nicest Grand Prix in the world, sir.
You remember this little monster?
Old Blue? Of course I do.
Still got her.
A lot of people are leaning that way.
Yeah. Remember that? It was sitting at your shop for a while and I couldn't figure it out. It bent 4 push rods. I put new push rods in it and fixed the intake and all that stuff. Fired right up. Runs great. Now the transmission's out of it. But yeah, back to the diagnostic tools. Matco, Mac, Top Don, even the new Genesis, whatever it may be called. There's a lot of companies switching to a subscription-based scanner, where if you want to scan the car and do your actuation test and all that, you have to pay an extra $2,000 a year, maybe. You know, back in the day, we didn't have to do that. We just push a button and okay, it works. Now I don't know why they're doing it. Autel, they're always in trouble for something. So I try and avoid Autel stuff. I tried the Top Don today, and
I love my Top Don. I got a 900 light, so works great.
I was playing with the 200 light, and it just didn't have the actuation test I wanted. It was almost identical to my Matco Maxxis.
Great tool. It's one of the best out there, and I got nothing but good things to say about Mac. Same with Top Don. Top Don is going to be a very affordable. It's a great tool. It's a very affordable tool.
Affordable until you have to pay the subscription.
And I paid just for one subscription. I paid for a subscription for GM, which gave me Cadillac, GM, Chevrolet, etc. And I paid $179 or $189 for 1 year.
Now, with the Matco, I didn't look into the Top Don. I didn't see where their subscription status was. But you can actually pay X amount of dollars for a master kit. With Matco, I think it was like $2,100, and it unlocks everything.
Top Don has that same option. It's a lot less than Matco. That one runs $299, and it'll unlock 32 or 33 of the special reset adaptation functions.
Now, the new 200 from Top Don is $1,200. My Matco was $1,500. So they're comparable in prices, you know, as opposed to the new Snap-on Zeus Plus or whatever it is, $12,000.
I don't do Snap-on. I don't do Snap-on.
I'm comparing the different scanners, you know, and there's a lot of techs in little shops that can't afford that, you know. So they end up sending the car to the dealership. We ended up plugging in our actual software and going from there, you know. But a lot of mom and pop shops are going to be going out, and it's
a lot of mom and pop shops are meant to go out. That's what a lot of this, you know, proprietary software is all about. A lot of this Repair Act garbage they keep talking about. That's what all this is about.
Yeah, and that Right to Repair Act, you know, even me working for a major dealership for a major auto brand, you know, we still get used cars in, and we still have to repair these cars, you know, without sending them to their respective manufacturer, you know, and they want to keep it in house, which I understand, you know, it's money for the company, you know, but sometimes those scan tools aren't, what's a good word here? Feasible.
Right.
For what we're doing, you know, we don't do enough of them to
justify the cause to buy it.
The cost.
Sure.
You know, I mean, yeah, everybody thinks, you know, a major dealership, they're going to buy all these scan tools. they've got all that stuff. They can fix anything they want. We cannot.
No.
You know, and that's just something the consumer has in their head that, well, I bought it here. You guys have to fix it here. Sometimes we got to send that car to the dealership, another dealership, to get fixed. You know, sometimes it's beyond our control. If I don't, I had a Volkswagen today where my scanner would not communicate with the TPMS module. TPMS module is tire pressure monitoring system. Controls the air pressure in the tires, or it reads it. So that way you know if you got a flat tire or not. That's what displays the little numbers in your cluster to tell you how much air pressure you got. But when we get to that point, we don't have the software to install that new module if it needs it and program it. So it has to go back. You know, I mean, that's just beyond our control. I mean, if I knew a way to fix it, I would. It'd be a lot cheaper for the dealership, you know, I mean, but at the same time, it takes away from another dealership. You know, so it's kind of push and pull.
True. But if you got, let's say, you're owner of your dealership, Kevin still owns the dealership, or somebody else got it now. I don't even know. But
that we have a different owner, and I won't disclose their names.
No problem. No problem. I knew Kevin. I saw him at auction. I bought plenty of cars from him. Never had an issue.
Actually,
But
Ed Parker used to own our dealership.
I remember Ed too.
Yeah, we bought him out.
And
bought out the other guy. I think it was Beerworth before it's what it is now. Yeah.
And I remember, and the same thing is probably true right now. If the owner has, let's say he's got 5 different dealerships, he's going to have one of those tools. He's not going to have each dealership with their own. It's just not, it's just not financially
the only thing
smart. It's just
normally what they do is they will supply the diagnostics for the manufacturer that they are running that dealership for. You know, if a Toyota dealership, they have all the Toyota scan stuff. Dodge has all their Dodge stuff. Ford has their stuff. Same with GM. It's just, there's so much to it. You know, you can't go to one manufacturer and say, oh, fix that manufacturer. You can't do it. You know, there are proprietary software like we were discussing, and it kind of sucks. But at times, you know, it's kind of like, okay, I'm gonna have to fix that one, send it somewhere else.
And that's another thing that people don't understand. If you go to your independent shop, you have a newer vehicle. I'm not talking about brand new, but newer vehicle. The scanners that they can have the most expensive Snap-on scanner in the world and paid for every subscription that Snap-on offers, and they're not going to be able to reset whatever needs to be reset.
There are some things they cannot do. So, is what it is.
Which, you know, if you're going to spend $12,000 on a scanner, that motherfucker ought to be able to do everything, but it won't. That's why you spend $1,200 on a scanner that'll do the same shit that one will do. It might not have a scope on it, but guess what? You can buy a scope. If you really want an oscilloscope that bad, you can get one for a whole lot less than $12,000. I promise.
Now most of your basic scopes are quick, but there's a new scope out from a company called Pico. It's called a Pico scope. It does noise and vibration harshness, and it reads almost down to the millionth of a second.
Really?
I mean, it's pretty awesome. I've got it all set up on my laptop, and I had to use it on one of our EVs, and it's a fun tool to play with. You know,
what do you find yourself working on the most as far as vehicles go? Do you find yourself working on the electric stuff, the EV stuff, or are you still finding yourself turning a wrench on mechanical stuff, replacing an alternator or a radiator, anything like it used to be?
Depends on the day. We don't see many EVs from Stellantis, and there's a reason for that. Not a lot of dealerships are seeing them. That Charger they came out with, they killed after 6 months. So you will not find an electric Charger.
My cousin, he bought one
And how did that go?
He has it, but there again, it looks nice.
Yeah, it looks nice. Does it do a lot of sitting?
It does a lot of sitting. He's got a 3-mile commute to work. So it looks nice. The exhaust sounds great.
Yeah,
I like how that was implemented. That's fun. That's fun.
Got 2 6x9 speakers in the bumper.
Mm-hmm. He said, "Listen to my exhaust." I said, "What?" And he did it. I said, "Holy shit!"
Can you imagine? I got an exhaust leak. I gotta have a new speaker put in.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. Kind of like, I never thought I'd see diesel fluid, but I saw diesel exhaust fluid. It's a real thing.
DEF fluid. I don't see a whole lot of DEF problems, except
I bet you saw a whole lot of Eco Diesel 3-liter problems, though, didn't you?
Yes, we did. We saw a lot of those. I didn't have to deal with that personally because I'm not a diesel guy.
And if I'm not mistaken, that 3-liter had Cummins badges, whatever, but it was an Italian designed and made engine, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And
it was garbage from the get-go.
The only way to fix them is pull the cab off.
And everybody loves pulling cabs.
Oh, it was like the old 7.3 Fords, I think you had to pull the cab, or was it 6.7?
If you got an oil pan on a 7.3 and that son of a bitch is leaking, the only way you're going to replace it is pulling that engine.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of quirks for cars that we've worked on. Not one of them is perfect.
No, God, no. They're all terrible. Every one of them. I don't give a shit what it is. They're all awful.
We have a 58 Ranchero that we rebuilt the carburetor on, put gas in it, and fired right up.
Well, yeah, but that's the Ranchero. And as much as I despise Fords, that's an old school, beautiful, classic car.
Yeah, old school technology versus new.
Points and everything.
You can fix anything you want on that car.
Yep. I remember, when we were still working and I had the Goodyear and we were working together, we'd get cars in there from 70s, with points in them still. So I got to learn all this crazy shit with points, distributors, everything else. So I got an opportunity to learn a lot of the things that these newer techs right now, they don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about.
You kind of got a crash course in carburetor tuning with my Camaro.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that monster? I had to build the frame rails on.
I could rebuild carburetors all day, even right now. Points, carburetors, no problem.
Yep.
Throttle body injection, shit. Do I want to work on newer cars? I will.
Yeah.
But I got this whole disabled handicap thing going on with me, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily for me, able body and have somewhat of a brain. Not much. It's pretty much mush anymore.
No. You've always been one of the most intelligent individuals that I've ever met, and that hasn't changed. I promise you.
I've noticed a lot of guys will use the diagnostic equipment and go, well, okay, that's what's wrong with it. Okay, but what caused that problem? What caused it to do that? Or they won't look at a diagram to find the routing to see a potential problem.
They won't look at fuel trim long-term or short-term to determine whether or not there's a fucking vacuum leak that you can't hear.
Yeah. Well, anymore, you get codes for that. System lean, shit like that. That's usually a vacuum leak. You got one that's rich, you got something dumping fuel.
As long as you know what you're looking at and you understand the data, then generally it doesn't really matter what diagnostic machine you have, because it's going to help you guide you to find where and what that problem is, isolated, and then be able to correct it, assuming it's correctable.
I've also seen where guys get into it and they're not used to the newer technology and they get overwhelmed.
Big time.
It's like, well, I have no idea where to start. Okay, start with your code. Does it have any codes? Well, I haven't plugged into it yet. You can plug in a fucking car.
Yeah, listen. This is just like any vehicle we see every day. There's nothing special about it. Pull it in and let's figure out what's going on. That's it.
And that's why you have your scan tools and your vacuum gauges and all kinds of
Smoke
stuff.
machines. Yeah, you can get us. I remember with smoke machines, we were able to get them for 1,500. They were selling them like it was a deal. You can buy a smoke machine maybe a couple $100 now.
My buddy just bought one for $100.
Yeah, see,
Yesterday.
you don't know how to read short-term and long-term fuel trim data. Get a smoke machine. Your ears don't work and you can't hear a vacuum leak. Get a smoke machine.
Yeah, and anymore, vacuum leaks are getting fewer and far between
Very
because
true.
there are less vacuum hoses in the car than there ever was.
Unless we're
80s,
looking at the European stuff to where they still need to catch up a little bit with their bullshit fucking cheap plastic.
and we got intake manifolds that are ABS plastic that crack.
You got control arms that are plastic.
Yes, they're actually called phenolic or something like that. I don't know. But yeah,
Any way that they can cut corners and make more profit for the shareholders.
well, and here's the other side of that. They actually made
Love you, Israel.
plastic
God
and
bless Israel.
control arms to eliminate road harshness because the aluminum and the plastic absorb more shock than
Very true.
steel.
Right, because steel is very dense. You got a lot of material there that's packed very tightly in a very strong design. Whereas this, no.
I see broken control. I see broken aluminum control arms all the time. I do a lot
It's
of body
crazy.
stuff. Yeah, I see a lot of wrecked cars. That's what I mostly see.
So you're seeing a lot of the reprogramming with the windshield, with the radar, with the adaptive cruise, with
Oh, that's a giant pain in the ass. We got a big board that sits in the middle of the shop. You don't have to take them out and drive them right now. You just pull it up to the board, align all your stuff. It's basically a wheel alignment for your camera.
just like the old headlight beam adjusters.
Yes. I hated those things.
And none of the young guys know what I'm talking about.
No. Read your MPI book. It'll tell you how that headlight's supposed to be. Take a tape measure, put it in front of your toolbox.
Yep. You go old school. You make your own.
Yep. Everybody. And there are some manufacturers, that have battery resets. If you replace the battery, you got to have the battery reset. I had one a couple weeks ago. We put tires on. We had to relearn the tire tread depth system because as you drive your car, you wear your tires. That sensor reads how low that tire tread is getting, and it tells you, hey, you need tires. Put 4 new tires on. You got to have that entire system reset to read the new tread depth. And it was stupid.
That's the new things that they continue to come up with. They're going to cause more and more issues.
It's like the intelligent battery sensor on a Chrysler. Unplug it completely, it resets it, then you got to drive it for 2 or 3 days just to get it to relearn.
The test drive relearn cycle, it's gotten a little bit longer than what I recall it being.
48 to 72 hours.
Yeah, it's...
and the look on a customer's face when you tell them, okay, we got all this reset, but you got to drive it for 2-3 days before it'll relearn.
What? But before it's totally fixed and everything's good, we just need you to take it for a little bit of a test drive.
Go to Texas and back. It might be good.
Yeah. After that, let me know if you got any problems, and we'll see. Yeah. Maybe you didn't drive it long enough.
Between the tools and all the courses you got to take to be a technician now, sometimes it ain't worth it.
You must have read my mind. Is it worth being a technician?
It is if you like the business. If I didn't like the business, I wouldn't still be in it. I love working on cars. I mean, I
love renting on cars. There you go.
Yeah, there's days I freaking hate it. And I wish I could flip burgers at McDonald's. But that's probably because the technical aspect of it sometimes even overwhelms me, and I've been in this business for over 40 years. 42
Yeah.
to be exact.
Yeah, you're what, 53?
55.
Really? Yeah, okay, yeah.
First shop I worked in was my dad and his buddies in California. I was sweeping floors and helping do tune-ups. I was 13.
Yeah, I had a slave driver also. You know him as my dad.
Yeah. The infamous Faja.
Oh yeah, gotta love him. Gotta love him, and I do love him. He's the only dad I got, short of the Almighty.
Does he still have the Elvis hairdo?
Yeah, he's old Silver Fox.
Yep.
Old Silver Fox.
Yeah, you make printout today.
See, now it's crazy because I got a caregiver and I'm his caregiver.
Oh shit. I got somebody keeps me in line. She's about 5'2", dark hair, green eyes. I screw up, she might chase me with a broom.
So Christy's doing good.
Oh yeah, she's doing real good. I'm actually really proud of her. She's in a pretty good position where she works.
Huh? Christy's always had a good head on her shoulders, and you had a good head on your shoulders for realizing that she had a good head on her shoulders.
Yeah, I think we both come a long way in the last 30-something years.
Haven't we all, though? You would like to think so in a good way.
Yes.
Do you think right now, because of, a lot of people don't understand, they think that, it's like watching, Grease and shit from the 60s to where they're dancing around and throwing wrenches and, they're standing on cars. It's not like that. There's a considerable commitment, and not only the commitment, but the financial investment of it, not counting any type of trade schools or vocational, just what you would go into as a entry-level novice tech. You're going to spend, I'll be conservative, 30 grand to start, easy.
Do you remember when I bought my Mac box back in 04?
Yeah.
That box, it's a Tech 1000 for Mac tools, and back then in 04 it cost me $5 grand, and now they're almost double that. Yeah, I know it was fun, sweetie.
For something that holds, yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time. Everybody had a good time. Everybody made money. Work got done. Customers were happy. We were able to make it through the Great Recession and the, one of the more financially challenged areas of Kansas City. And
now it is a rich line.
It is a complete, it's a complex. I don't know how else to explain it. It's the
only thing that separates our old shop that is now Richline Auto Repair and the big Richline building is a gas station in the street. They're huge.
Yeah. Oh, it's ridiculous. And what kills me the most about it is before we sold the shop and the property, I was like, you know what, Pop? I don't know if I want to sell. I don't want to sell. I don't really know if I want to do it. It's not like we necessarily needed the money, but he was, I don't know, he was going with his divorce from his wife, and he was in a bad position, which put me in a bad position because I didn't want to sell. But
yeah, and knowing your dad, I can see where he's coming from.
Yeah, he didn't want to risk losing something in a divorce and it getting messy. I understand, but I wanted to stay. I wanted to keep it because I saw what I knew was eventually going to happen in the future, to where the city would invest money back into itself and values would raise, and eventually somebody's, you get a business, you buy a business, you build a business up in order to make it profitable, in order to sell it.
Yeah. We were doing pretty good.
Yeah, we did great. I mean, we still got the muffler shop in Independence. It does great. So it's not like
Old Benny.
Yes, Old Benny.
I go in there and harass them once in a while. We'll take a car up from the dealership on a used car.
Oh yes. He
Him and Donnie.
Getty something else. Greatest, the best exhaust shop in the Kansas City area, hands down. Budget muffler. Don't even go anywhere else. Yep. Don't even go anywhere else.
And Benny is honest. He will tell you how it is.
Yep.
It's broke. You have to fix it, and this is how much it's going to cost.
Yep. Not trying to rob you blind, not trying to take your money, just trying to get your shit fixed and get you on the road and get another vehicle on that lift, because that lift needs to make at least $1,000 a day.
Yes, exactly. And people don't realize a lot of shops figure that out. They figured how much each bay is supposed to make per day to keep paying their technicians to keep the doors open, just so they can fix your car. I think for a major dealership like us, it's probably in the $2,500 range minimum, just for one bay.
And you're right around 200, I'm guessing, per hour.
I think 190, 190, 200, somewhere in there. Yeah. And we make decent pay. I'm not going to disclose.
No disclosure.
But the whole premise behind that, a lot of people think, oh, you're a tech for a dealership, you make a shitload of money. No, the dealership makes a shitload of money. We can afford McDonald's.
After everything is said and done, we'll call it 100% to start out with. And once the service manager gets his percentage, once the part guy gets his percentage, once the dealership has their percentage, the tech is left with roughly 12%, somewhere right around there. It might even be less than that.
Maybe more, maybe less, depending on where you work.
True.
I mean, they've got it all figured out. Because I work at a dealership, people, I've seen ads where people say, well, I don't want one of those high-dollar technicians. And they're usually referring to techs that come from dealerships. I mean, just because we work for a dealership doesn't mean we're a high-valued technician, or, people that make a shitload of money. Most you're having, follow a mechanic home one day and see what his house looks like. Well, that's a bad idea, but they aren't big mansions. They're nothing extravagant. They're an average house.
Most technicians are blue-collar, hard-working individuals. That truly enjoy what they do.
There's nothing white-collar about us. We're rude, obnoxious, we cuss a lot. Some of us drink a lot. Some of us smoke a lot. Some of us blow shit up. It's just, a lot of people actually look down on technicians, and I think it's sad, because we're the guys that keep the EMTs, the cops, the fire department guys, all their personal vehicles that they need to get to work. We're the guys that take care of that stuff. If we can't fix their cars, they're not getting a fire station to make it to a call, and your house is going to burn down.
You got a heart surgery and your doctor can't make it to the to the hospital to perform that procedure. Your life is on the line, all because he can't start his car. Shit.
Exactly. But yet we're one of the most undervalued people in the world.
I would have to agree 100%. Absolutely. And then once you get older and you get experience and you get knowledge, and, unfortunately, that doesn't get rewarded. It's not based on meritology. You get aged out of the industry because at that point, you're not as fast.
Bad shoulders, bad, hands that can barely grip anything. Construction guys are the same way. They're underrated. They build this
100%.
country.
100%. All day long, every day.
The guy that's working on your AC to keep your house cool, he's outside dying in the heat to fix your AC so you can be comfortable. There's just so many avenues that people don't look at. They just buy a car, say, fix it, and they look down their nose at you all day.
Yeah, they see a guy that's dirty, wearing dirty clothes. Yeah, sure, he's got a uniform on with a name tag. Yeah, but
Yeah,
that he's like,
you know,
well,
sometimes
yeah, he's dirty. He's working on a fucking car. What do you? You could be the first one at work, be there for 20 minutes, and look like you've been there all day
yeah,
working on one car. So it's
it's ugly. You know, and then people get mad. There are some cars we have refused to work on. You know, and there's probably other shops that do this where they are so piled with trash.
Yeah,
You know,
I
see
won't
how
make anybody get in that. If you're a hoarder and you are like seriously, you got something wrong with you, I can't get in your car and my guy doesn't feel safe getting in your car. Listen, I'm sorry. I really want to help you, but
yeah, sit
you
in the
can.
car 10 seconds. By noon, you got gangrene somewhere.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's. I'm sorry.
And
You can
people,
pull it in yourself, and we can take a look at the brakes or whatever issue you have. But I don't want to be
yeah,
disrespectful. But this,
they got a big stereo system in the trunk. You know, there's electronics in the trunk that we might have to get to. You know, I think Ford's passive entry is back there. GM has some stuff back there. We got stuff back there. You know,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Ford's had their path back there for 100 million years, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah,
But I mean,
paths,
everywhere in that
passive
car,
active theft system.
you know, people throwing stuff under their seats. You know, we got stuff under the seats. We got modules under the seats. All that nice heated air conditioned seats you have, there's modules under there. There's a computer under there that controls all that. Don't throw stuff under your seat. 9 times out of 10, it cuts a wire or binds a wire up or unplugs something, and your little automatic seat that resets every time you get in the car doesn't work. And then you come in yelling at us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Those little perforations in your seat, those are to allow the flow of either cooled or heated air, depending on what you have, via either ducting or a fan. So you don't want that to fail because that's not cheap.
The Wagoneer and the Grand Cherokees, I do believe, have heated and cooled seats. The heated part is a heat element, but under that bottom seat cushion and in that seat back are fans that blow that air. Don't put stuff under your seats. You know, when we go under there and get a water bottle and see a ripped wire, there's your problem.
Yeah, there's things that you can do or not do self-harm to your car and avoid going to the dealership and spending money that you don't have to. Number one being, don't work on something if you don't know what you're doing.
Exactly. if you don't have the knowledge to fix a new car, stay out of it. You know, I mean, some shops call it a stupid fee, where they fix your fuck up because you didn't know what you were doing. You know, and a lot of people go onto YouTube. Sometimes that YouTube channel isn't exactly right.
No. And let me just say this about YouTube and when it comes to repairs. I will not show anybody how to repair anything on YouTube because I don't know where you're at on your level of knowledge when it comes to repairs. I don't know what tools you have, and I don't want to be responsible. So I can talk about vehicles, I can talk about tools, but as far as me telling you how to fix your car, I'm not going to be responsible for that.
Yeah, I like the phone calls. My check engine light, what's wrong with it? Sorry, my crystal ball's in the shop.
Yeah, hold on. Put the car on. Let me talk to it.
Yeah, put the phone in the car and let me talk to it.
Yeah,
you know, there are some very reputable channels that I personally watch. I wish I can remember the name of them because
Royalty Auto. I enjoy Royalty Auto. He's a good one down there in Georgia.
Dave's Auto is another one.
Yep.
There's a guy in Oklahoma that does transmissions. I love watching, and I'm not a transmission guy. I'll take him out, put him in. That's it. If it needs a rebuild, hey, I'll give it to the transmission guy.
And that's another thing as far as the dealership goes, the new car store. There's a chain of command, a hierarchy, if you will. You've got your GSs, you got your installers, you got your pullers, you got your techs, you got your mechanics. you've got everybody in their role. You got your detailers, you got your porters, you got different people that do different jobs.
Exactly. It's like Chrissy just brought up. We work flag hours. And some call it straight. There's straight pay flag hours or whatever they want to call it. We call it flag hours. If we don't have a car to work on, we don't make anything. We make zero, zip. I mean, there is a guarantee that we are guaranteed to get paid every week. But
you have to be there. Number one,
yeah,
you have to be there for X amount of hours.
And the flag hours you get for your guarantee are less than 40 hours. There are some guys that do pay that 40 hours, some pay 50. But their guys are consistently busy. They always have something to do. They're flagging 50 or 70, 80 hours a week. So they can afford that 40, 50 hour flag hours, guarantee. A lot of shops, I think in Kansas City, the guarantee is 30. And that's not a whole lot.
No, not in this day and age. No, back when you started, I remember this because the way that Faj and I would do it is we would pay you, we would negotiate obviously an hourly wage. We would work 40 hours. And what I would do, because I'm a numbers kind of guy and analytical like that, but in a different way than my dad,
Your dad was always, how much?
Yeah, he just liked to look at numbers and make sure he had plenty of money. Me, I'd like to look at statistics and do analytics and find out where my strengths and weaknesses are. Yeah. And when it came to pay, I would negotiate a salary with the individual like yourself, and I would do it with my dad because God forbid I pay too much. And there's no such thing. But I would pay whatever was more. So if you made more over the course of a week and 40 hours, in regular pay than you did in flag, then you would get that. Or if you made more in flag, then you would get that instead. So you get the more, the bigger of the two is what I'm saying.
And when I first started working for you, we negotiated something, and within a month you were like, I can't pay you that. You gave me raises pretty quick.
Well, yeah, good techs are hard to find, and you have to be able to keep them. So whatever that meant.
Don't get me wrong, not every tech's an idiot. There are some that shouldn't be working on cars, but a lot of the guys I work with, personally, every one of them is on their game. They know what they're doing.
Right.
Every once in a while you get that car that is argumentative, so to speak.
It's out there because 15 other people have looked at it. Now it's your turn. Thanks. And here's the other thing about it: the way that I did that was twofold, because I could hear somebody tell me about how great they are, how many tools they got, how much they spent on this and that. All right, fine. I'll pay you this much like you want, and it'll give me an idea of if you are actually bringing in enough work to justify making this much money, or if you're just full of shit. So
yeah, but I'm getting a low battery message on my phone. I tried to have it fully charged, and it just didn't happen. It was too hot out.
I get it. Hey, that's just like a vehicle that's probably in the shop that you're working on. Consumer electronics.
Yep, low battery, it ain't gonna start. Your little stop-start battery, and battery manufacturers these days suck.
Yeah, the AGM stop-start system, lately they've been realizing that they've been having premature failure of starters because it has exceeded its duty cycle, because when you are in stop-start traffic and you're consistently re-engaging that starter solenoid to start that motor again, yeah, everything is about to fail to a point. Everything has a duty cycle.
Like I said, I better jump off here before my phone just dies on you.
All right, brother. Well, listen, I thank you so much for being here. I want to have you on again anytime you want. You're always welcome. You got great information. You're a beautiful human being. Christy's a beautiful woman. You have beautiful children. I don't mean any of this in weird, strange ways. I got nothing but the utmost love and respect for you and your family. Tell your dad, tell mom, tell Brandon, tell Christopher I said hello. I wish you nothing but the best, Mark, and I hope we can do this again sometime. And I hope you heard what I said, because now I got dead air, dead silence. And, you know, Mark's a great guy. He's a great tech, but he's an even better person. He's helped me out so much throughout the years in way of, you know, making me a better technician when I was coming up. Because right now, in this day and age, guys like Mark, they're, you know, one in a million, because there's not a lot of guys that are going to take you under their wing and show you things and help you, because they don't want competition. People don't want to necessarily share everything with you to give you, I guess, the same type of, I don't want to call it an advantage necessarily, but that way you have the same type of shot. All right. It's up to you whether or not you retain, learn, and apply. But ultimately, that is what it comes down to. Thank you, Christy. I appreciate that. You guys are awesome. And a couple things that I didn't get to ask Mark would have been tool related. For the most part, you heard what he said. Stellantis or Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, whatever you want to call them, they provide a lot of the tools, those being specialty tools. Of course, there are tool trucks that still come because people are going to buy off the tool trucks. They've been doing it for years. And if you've been in the industry, then regardless, you're going to be on the tool truck or something at some point, whether you have bought something in the past and you need to get it fixed or warranted, you're going to be on there. I work with a gentleman named Austin. Excellent. Small engine, probably one of the best small engine techs out there next to me. Just kidding. But I am really good at small engine too. And all he used, hand tools and air tools. He didn't give a shit about that hose. It didn't bother him a bit. And no cordless, no electric. I remember when I came in and I let him use all this electric stuff. He's like, I don't know about this. What if it just stops working when I need it? I'm like, dude, it's not. It's, you know, it's not garbage. I'm not giving you trash here. But yeah, all pneumatic tools to this day. And right now he is working for Kubota, doing really well. So we worked together for a good amount of time at the dealership, and we worked on anything from, you know, small engines, zero turns. We worked on a lot of electric stuff, or I worked on a lot of electric stuff. I worked on a lot of Ego. I worked on a lot of Ryobi. I worked on a lot of Greenworks as far as their large commercial-esque / I don't like to use like DIY or homeowner, but they're high dollar stuff that we were, you know, a dealer, so we serviced it. Same with like steel. We were a steel dealer, so I worked on a lot of steel chainsaws, etc. But very fulfilling. It's not a cheap industry to get into at all. It requires a considerable investment, not only in way of just being able to dedicate yourself to a trade, to a craft, but you have to be committed to it. You got to be, here, right there. Mark prefers air. He has bought nearly every tool he has ever had over the years. We've got tools everywhere. And I know you do. Mark's got tools up the wazoo. Not in a bad way. I don't literally mean he has a wazoo, nor do I mean he has tools stored in that wazoo. But yeah, the thing about air tools is you're not going to match the power, and you are not going to kill them. Plain and simple. And from my recollection, and I believe I'm right, and if Christy's still watching, she can probably correct me if I'm wrong. Mark has always been a big fan of Mac tools. I also love Mac tools. One of my favorite tool brands. My least favorite tool brand, we'll go ahead and share this, is Snap-on. I own two Snap-on things. One is a charger, power box, power bank, whatever you want to call it, that came with my $600 heated jacket. Yeah, he breaks everything else. I get it. Totally get it. I know Mac is super quality. The problem is, for every one Mac dealer or every one Cornwell dealer or every one Matco dealer, you got 40 Snap-on dealers that are charging such a ridiculous premium on their product. It's not worth it. And you're not getting something that is going to magically, you're not going to be like He-Man, grab this ratchet and Snap-on and become like super tech. It's just not going to happen. It doesn't work like that. I don't care what tool you're using. All right. Unless you're using like gas station throwaway tools. But even then, if you know what you're doing with them, you can make something work. I'm not telling you to get a box from the Flying J of their tools that are made from God knows where by God knows who. No, don't do that. If you're going to spend money on tools, don't buy something that you won't be able to depend on. Don't buy something that's going to fail you. And if you're going into the automotive industry, do you have to have 30 grand cash up front to be able to enter it? No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the initial investment is not cheap. You can't go to Harbor Freight necessarily, spend $500 and get everything you need to be a mechanic. There are things that you will be able to fix. For example, if you started whether it be a family-owned dealership, small shop, or if you're lucky, you can get into one of the Firestones or Discount Tires, or what else is there now? Tires Plus, Goodyear, whatever else. There's plenty of them out there. And start as a general service technician, to where you're mainly doing things like fixing flat repairs, and you are changing oil, and you're doing just basic things. So you need basic tools. So those basic tools that you need are going to be what you depend on to make sure that you're able to do your job and make money. Okay? Pretty simple. So, like I said, on the Snap-on jacket, I had it for a week, never worked in it. I bought it. This was the last thing I bought prior to injury. I bought it wintertime. It was cold. I wanted something nice. I got this jacket. It was like $500-600. I never worked in it. Just wore this jacket after I got out of work, cleaned myself up, wintertime, etc. And it was heated, yada yada yada. And out of nowhere, got this giant rip. I'm not going to stand up and pull the jacket out and show you a rip on it. But then I called the Snap-on guy. I'm like, hey, we got this rip. He's like, you know anybody that sews? I'm like, what? I don't know anybody that sews. I could sew, but I just pay you $600 for a jacket that's got a rip and stitching that's missing as though it wasn't there. I just happened to notice it. And I'm telling you about it. I've had this thing for less than, a month, and you're telling me that you can't do anything about it? All right. No problem. That was my last That was my last straw with Snap-on. In the past, I had a Snap-on dealer, and I hope Mark remembers him or not. I don't want to mention his name. I don't even know if he's still alive. I know he's not a Snap-on dealer anymore because I know these things. But I would pay him money, cash, on my account. And what he would do, he would roll around with his wife in the Snap-on truck. And far be it from me to know what people do with their money and their personal time, I'd get what looked like a receipt. But what he would do is take my cash and buy blow. Find out he had a little bit of a cocaine problem, him and his wife, as though I couldn't tell. But I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. And then for probably several months, I kept getting calls from Snap-on, like, "Hey, you need to pay your bill." I'm like, "What are you talking about? I pay my fucking bill, no problem. What are you talking about?" And I've had plenty of Snap-on stuff, and they just, yeah, that, and like I said, I didn't have, the Snap-on tools that I had in like the 90s, early 2000s, I thought were much better than the current stuff that they came out with. Great screwdrivers. Matco's probably the best at screwdrivers. But right now, tool truck wise, the only business I'll do with any tool truck is just Cornwell. That's it. Tool truck wise, Cornwell's what I buy. That's it. American gets nothing offshore, no garbage bullshit. Their hand tools are excellent. Their warranty is lifetime, whether you're buying the Cornwell brand or whether or not you're gonna, buy the Blue Power. It makes no difference. Mark's trying to get back on with you. Yeah, use the link. No problem. It'll work. But yeah, big investment. Cornwell, good stuff. Got a great Cornwell guy, known him for years. His name is Brian. Lives down the street. Getting with school together. They believe they still go. One of them still goes to school together with the one because they're close in age. But anyway, known him for years. Great guy. Nothing but good things to say about him. And I got a great Matco 2 dealer, but since Milwaukee started making all of their products, and this happened within the last few years, as far as cordless goes, it's, I'd rather buy the Milwaukee than buy the Matco because I'm saving money and I'm getting the exact same tool. They just brand it differently. But I'm not a huge Milwaukee guy. I got plenty of Milwaukee stuff. But what do I do? Yeah, got the new Nuke, picked it up. That's kind of a mess. Look at the short that I made earlier, and I'll explain everything you want to know about the launch, what happened, what didn't happen, what should have happened. But Monday, you get a free battery with your Rigid Nuke. Even if you were able to get your hands on one today, a lot of people weren't. In the Midwest here in this region, they only got 2 per on the brushless or on the hydraulic impact, 2 per. And they were only available as will call. And a lot of the, whether you had the app or whether you had online, doesn't matter. You could not purchase it online. You could not order it online. You had to physically go to a store, hope they actually had it, their inventory was correct, and they had to pull it from way back where they got all this overstock now of brand new Nuke stuff that is basically the prior subcompact version with a new logo and branding. That's the honest truth. How do I know this? Am I making this up? No. This is coming from, and I'm not going to tell you his name. This is coming from my rigid friend, my rigid rep, the guy that I told you that new stuff was coming out Tuesday. It came out on Tuesday. It was a mistake to do it the way they did, but between supply chain issues, communication issues, and a lot of moving parts that need to work together in order to make it happen correctly. Yeah. Yeah. I think that I dropped. I'm not going to give any more information than I just did. My connection sucks. I get it, brother. I get it. While I got you on here and you're listening, as far as tools and the tool trucks go, Mark, since you're listening and you're on here, where, the Matco guy comes, the Mac guy comes, the Snap-on guy comes, I'm guessing the Cornwell guy comes. How much money do techs invest on tool trucks now, as opposed to going out and just being able to buy something from, Home Depot, Acme Tools, Direct Tools, Discount Tool, Lowe's, Menards, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. How many people are leaning towards that direction as opposed to spending a fortune that they don't necessarily have on a tool truck that, may or may not be the best alternative as a technician? It's, paying for a name versus paying for the tool is a huge difference. The reason I bought this Gen 2 nuke is because the Gen 1 nuke that I have from I don't remember when it came out, 2014 or 2015. It's a decade plus old. I haven't registered this one yet because depending on I don't know what they're going to do, whether they're going to exchange this one and give me one that's going to be associated with a battery that's linked to it. This is just how they operate. This is how they keep track of things, etc. So basically, if you are in a position to where just wait till Monday, you'll get you a free battery. If you already were one of the few fortunate enough, and depending on where you are in the States or in Canada, this launched, I believe, in the beginning of July in Canada, and everything was fairly available. AEG, if you wanted to pay premium, you can get it shipped in from Australia down under. Let's see what Mark has to say, because I'm curious. Our guys usually avoid outside sources for tools. Usually you see us out on the tool trucks. Yeah, it makes sense. It's been that way. I think that's something that's been kind of grandfathered and incorporated in something that's not going to change necessarily in anytime soon, because it's more than just buying tools. It's an experience. It's something that you enjoy to do. It also gives you a little bit of a break. Sometimes we all need a little bit of a break. You get on the tool truck, you got a little bit of conversation with your dealer, you build relationships, and I've done it over the years for a long time, and that's why I can do some of the things that I can do and give information that I can give, and hopefully some good will come out of it. And the takeaways are going to be positive. One thing I'd like to mention is I'm not going to pat myself on the back or toot my own horn, but I'm going to be able to hold myself accountable to make sure that I continue to be on and available Wednesdays at the same bad time, same bad place, same bad channel. And, if there's topics, if there's things, if there's tools, if there's equipment, if there's questions that you have, please feel free to ask anytime. I have nothing but time and answers that I will gladly share with you. Would love to do it. Sometimes the warranty from the tools we get off the trucks have a better warranty, and most important thing, it's convenience. This is true. And a lot can be said about that, and I'll use Harbor Freight as a parallel. If you have an issue and you have a Harbor Freight tool, you can go to Harbor Freight and you can just boom, boom, done. You can do that with you can do that with a lot of things, but Harbor Freight is the one that comes to mind the most. You can do the same with Walmart and Hypertough. They've got a limited lifetime warranty, assuming that you're not abusing the tool and doing things that it's not meant to do. There's nothing wrong with the Hypertough products. I tried to explain duty cycle earlier. Everything is designed to work and to fail to a point. Now, the good news is the majority of the stuff, especially hand tool wise, can all be rebuilt. Very simple, especially ratchets. You got balls, you got split balls, you got double balls, you got little tiny balls, you got springs. Very simple. You either got a snap ring or you got fasteners. You can rebuild. Very simple. If you want me to make a video and tear apart a wrench, ratchet, whatever, ratchet wrench, I will gladly do so. And real quick, while it's on my mind, clip this. 89 Tools, Holly B. She is awesome. She's got a great channel. She's got a great personality. She's very knowledgeable. She's very thoughtful. I highly recommend you check out her channel. 89, like the number, Tools, Holly B. Great channel, great interaction. I highly recommend you give her a shot. And having more women interested in this type of field, in this type of industry, whether it be masonry, carpentry, automotive repair, whether you're into tinkering, hobbying, doesn't make any difference. You're enjoying what you're doing. If it's something that you can make money off, great, even better. But if you treat it as a hobby, you're going to have a lot more fulfillment of it. If you depend on it for your income, because that is what you do for work, and obviously you have a bit of a different perspective when it comes to it. That's not to diminish or to minimize or minimize anything. And once again, clip this. 89 Tools, Holly B. Check out her channel. Tell them the Russian Tea Room sent you. I don't know if that'll do anything, but she's awesome. They give some giveaways. Speaking of which, clip this. I'm going to start doing giveaways too. I'm working on some stipulations. First thing is we got to get 500 subscribers. That's number one. You got to be subscribed. You got to be notified. Whether you like or you don't like, that's entirely up to you. But we get to 500 and I'll start giving away some nice stuff. Tools, equipment, won't cost you anything. All on me. And everything that I have, I buy with my own money. Nobody supports me. Nobody gives me free things. It's my stuff, my money. Whatever I want to do with it is my choice. So, aside from that, gang, I really enjoyed having Mark on tonight. I think he had a lot of great information. His perspective, tool-wise, totally get it. It's very convenient because it's not like the tool truck. For example, my former employee that left me disabled, we had 2 Snap-on trucks twice a day, Monday through Friday. We had a Matco truck every day, once a day. We had a Cornwell truck every day, once a day. And we had a no. We did not have a Mack truck. We had everything but Mack. And there used to be Gear Wrench. Napa used to have their mobile stuff as well. But Mark had a blast. I had a blast too, brother. It was awesome. It was really fun. And normally I'll go, whether I'm by myself, which is perfectly normal. I'll go a couple hours generally and find something that we can continue to talk about and engage with. And the more the people engage with me, the more that I stay on and speak. And if it's something that I enjoy speaking to and I have knowledge of, then I'm going to share that. Knowledge is meant to be shared, not kept. All right. So the more that I could tell you, the more that I could share with you, the more individuals I can get on here to share their information and their experiences when it comes to this field, because it is truly underrated, underappreciated, and very misunderstood. There's a lot that goes on with whether you're working on automotive, whether you're working on equipment, whether you're working on small engines, whether you're working automotive in a hybrid setting, whether you're working on automotive in a EV setting. There's a lot of stuff that you need to know. There's a lot of things to keep into consideration, especially when it comes to safety. Um, there's just a lot, and it's not for everybody. And if it's something that interests you, I highly encourage that you give it an opportunity. You're never going to know until you get in and get your feet wet and try it out. You're either going to like it or you won't. It's hard work, it's dirty work. You don't really, the most fulfillment that you will have is from the fact that you will be able to know that you were able to fix someone's problem, get them back on the road, and knowing that you did it right the first time, you were able to help them out, you were able to do it at a price that they were able to afford. You didn't look at them as a dollar sign. You treated them with respect like a human being deserves. You didn't care about anything other than making sure that you did the job, took care of the customer. And you know what? Ultimately, that's what matters. It's not about making the most money. It's not about any of that. And that's not what it's about. It's not trying to continue to try to upsell things that may or may not be necessary. And when it comes to what's necessary and what's not necessary, go by what your manufacturer recommends. Usually 99.9% of the time, they're going to be right. And if you stray or if you do something that goes against what a manufacturer is recommending, then you risk voiding warranty. That's a whole nother spiel in itself. Now, back to this tool thing. Does that mean that if you go to a dealership, you're not going to find anybody using Harbor Freight tools? Absolutely not. You don't think you're going to find somebody using Bosch? No. DeWalt, Milwaukee? No, no, no. You're going to see all this stuff, and you're going to see tool truck stuff. You're going to see giant toolboxes. You're going to see guys that take pride in their setup, and because that is what makes them money. That is how they earn a living. That is their bread and butter. Those tools is what makes them money. What's in here is what makes them money. Knowledge, experience, having the right tool, knowing how to use it, doing proper diagnostics, following the trouble tree, troubleshooting, not throwing parts at something and hoping that it fixes it, taking your time, understanding whether you have a mechanical issue or whether you have an electronic issue, whether you have a sensor issue, whether you have a module issue. There's a lot of things to keep into account and to consider. And there's a lot to know in this industry when it comes to automotive or equipment or small engine or, electronics. There's so much to know and so much to learn. Nobody knows it all, and it's constantly evolving and changing. And that doesn't mean that it gets any easier. I would say quite the contrary. It becomes more and more advanced. I wouldn't say difficult, but I would say advanced. You need to be able to understand what it is that you are doing, what it is that you are working on, and what it takes to do it properly. In America, in the United States, we're very fortunate to have tools, equipment, and things that will allow us to repair things, diagnose things properly. Not the That can't be said across the board, unfortunately. Not everybody has access. Not everybody has the same means. Not everybody is on the same level with where they're at in tools, where they're at in finances, where they're at in life, how they're doing. There's a lot to consider and a lot to keep in mind. And like I said, Mark has a lot of great information. He's been in this business a long time. He's been at the same dealership for 19 years. That in itself speaks volumes. I don't know. I know some really, really, really good techs, really good techs. And I'll tell you what, they are some of the most underappreciated people that you will ever find. And it's, another great comment here, that's something people don't understand. The shops do not supply our tools. They don't. We, the technicians, pay for that out of their own pockets. There are some, but very, very few shops that supply tools. And technicians pay for that stuff, like I said, out of their pockets. Out of their pockets. And if you think it's cheap, no. Now, the shop, the dealership, they're going to have things. They don't expect you to bring your own tire machine. They're not going to expect you to bring your own coolant flush machine. They're not going to expect you to bring your own transmission flush machine. They're not going to expect you to bring your own bender if you're working in an exhaust shop. Okay? There's things that the shop, the dealership, they need to provide on their own. And they do, obviously. They don't expect you to bring your own lift, okay? But when it comes to the things that you need to repair whatever it is that you're working on, that's on you. That's on you. You are paying for that tool. You are paying for that specialty tool. That is 100% on you. And here's an example. Harbor Freight is a very good example, and I'll use them simply because they're everywhere. They've got plenty of stores. They're coast to coast, north, south, east, west. There's Harbor Freight everywhere. They'll honor the warranty regardless of where you purchased your product from. So Harbor Freight is a very good option for tools. Now, am I telling you that Harbor Freight makes the best tools? No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that anybody makes the best tools, and I'm not saying that anybody makes the worst tools. I'm saying there's the right tool and the wrong tool, and in the right hands, the right tool will get the job done. It doesn't need to have a special name, okay? It just needs to do its job by an able-minded, able-bodied individual that understands how things work. Very simple. Average weekly payments can range anywhere from 25 and over 300 a week. I worked with a guy, he was paying, I swear to God, I can't make this up, for his toolbox. His toolbox. He was paying $1,000 a week. That was just his toolbox. It was a Snap-on. And he was a really good tech. really nice guy, you know, but $1,000 a week just for his toolbox. And he was still buying tools. And he was one of those diehards, one of those never gonna change brands. I'm never gonna use anything but Snap on. And you know what? As much money as he made, he spent it all on paying for the tools he was using. Not what you want to do. You want to have money to be able to live. You don't want to be able to not live. You don't want to just have a collection of tools that are locked up in somebody else's building that you can't access when you want. Whereas myself, I got a full garage of tools. What's a disabled guy need with tools? How long is a piece of string? Clip that. You know, I love tools. I love tools. I love Second Amendment things. I used to have a giant sports card memorabilia collection, which obviously you can say I no longer have. And I went ahead and went a different route. Why did I get tools? Am I going to make a comeback and grow magic legs? No. But my son, as I mentioned before, has an interest and a bit of a knack for tools. He's got good hands. And he's going into the welding program his senior year. And instead of getting caught in the trap of having to buy things and being a vocational type of setting, I know for a fact that they do have, you know, requirements of what they need to buy. So anything that I don't have that's on that list, he's going to be able to pick and buy himself. That's fine. In the meantime, if it's something that he truly has a passion for and he truly likes, then we've got plenty of tools to do whatever we want. If not, I have plenty of tools to be able to do whatever I want. Not for profit. Not for profit. Not trying to get kicked off of disability. I am not hireable. Nobody in the right mind would hire me. Clip that. Nobody would hire me if I'm too much of a liability. Not because I'm a loose cannon, but because I have no knees anymore. And yeah, nobody wants me for what I possess between my shoulders, meaning my mind. So that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. I can help you guys and Garris and individuals, let you guys just, be there for you. You got questions, I got answers. And if I don't have an answer, I have resources like Mark, etc., to be able to help out and be able to answer questions that I don't. And I am more than happy to reach out and find answers. I am more than happy to call tool guys or former tool guys that had trucks and get them on and have them talk about the experience. Is that a lucrative business? Sure. If people pay their weekly bill, you got a $3,000 balance and you're paying $25 a week. That's not enough. And you're not going to be able to buy any tools until you knock that down. And, you're the $300 a week guy. That means you got a lot of stuff already and you're paying $300 a week, $1,200 a month. And right now, maybe buying more tools isn't going to be necessarily in your best interest. So you should put a pause on that. But then again, you have the alternatives. You have, your Lowe's, you have Home Depot, you have Menards, you have Harbor Freight, you have, what else is there? Sutherland's, if you want to go to Sutherland's. I mean, it's whatever you want. You can go get tools wherever you want to get tools. You can go to Amazon, buy tools. You can go to eBay, buy tools. You can go, like I said, to Acme, to Direct, to Discount Tool, all these different places. You can buy combo kits. You can buy Hitachi. You can buy, Hokiki or Hikoki, I apologize, which is going to be the next hydraulic pulse impact driver I get. I'm going to pick that bad boy up. And the other one is I think it's the Ingersoll brand RST. I was a huge Ingersoll fan. Love Ingersoll. Wonderful brand. One of the best. Here, I was watching, I don't remember what I was watching. It was a video yesterday. It was, I think it was the original Stealth Force Quiet Impact versus the Hyper Tough hydraulic impact. Now, this Hyper Tough impact had issues because it was smoking, and that's not what they're supposed to do. I used the Hyper Tough impact, the hydraulic, and I have no issue whatsoever. But there again, I understand what it is designed for and how to properly use it. So that makes a difference. But this guy, I'm not, I don't remember the name or the channel or anything else, but he was putting the old Stealth Force up against this Hyper Tough, and this Hyper Tough was just smoking. He keeps using it. Clearly, you got a dud. And instead of sitting here showcasing how much smoke the Hyper Tough can produce before that shit blows up in your hand and your face, take that motherfucker back to Walmart and get another one. Shit. And if you think that Hyper Tough is the only manufacturer out there that has issues with tools out the box, I promise you that is not the case at all whatsoever. I bought brand new Snap-on tools that were absolute shit. Same with Milwaukee. Same with pretty much every manufacturer, every brand. There's no such thing as the perfect tool. Does not exist. Isn't there. We haven't got there. We haven't invented that yet. And but I will say that we've come a long way in technology. The cordless tools, they're very powerful, they're very convenient. They're but we're heading in the right direction. Next is going to be what you use to power the fuel cell, or what you're going to use as an alternative fuel cell. And then, the next video that I make, I'm going to explain watt hours to you and what that means. I don't want to get too far into it, but I'll give you an example. Clip this, clip that. Watt hours is what you get when you multiply and I'll just use what the advertisers use. Let's say you have a 20 volt DeWalt, okay? So you take that 20 volt DeWalt and you take it by the amp hour of the battery. So if you have a 20 volt tool and you're running it on a 4 amp hour battery, what you have is 20 times 4, which is 80. Now, that watt hour number, you can look at it as a gas tank and the amount of fuel and capacity that it holds. So that's a 20 volt tool, which nominal is 18 volts. So let's use 18 volts and the same 4 amp hour battery. You're going to take that 4 and you're going to multiply it times 18, and you're going to come up with a difference of 72. So what you have then, according to what the numbers say, is a 72 watt hour battery and an 80 watt hour battery. So you have a larger fuel tank to store more power, more capacity. And then you get into your 24 volt and use the same formula. And if you want to go as far as what the nominal voltage is, 24 is 21.6, 20 is 18, 18 is 18, 12 is 10.8, 8 is 7.1, and 4 is 3.6. Those are the basic ones. And then you get into your 36 and your 40 and your 80, 60, etc. And it changes things. So it's physics. You're trying to defeat the laws of physics. And right now, what you're doing with the technology, as far as what's been implemented into the battery, is basically to lower the internal resistance and thermal heat management. So, what you're doing is making the battery more efficient. And when you have a higher voltage battery, like a 24 volt, you're adding a cell to it. Now, whether you're using 650s or 700s, or whether it's stacked, whether it's tabless, which is the worst name that you could have possibly come up with the battery, because it's actually a multi-tab battery as opposed to tabless, but that's beyond the point. Clip that. But there's a lot of things to keep in mind and to consider. So we covered a lot, and once again, I appreciate you guys and gals for tuning in, being here with me. You could be anywhere in the world right now, but here you are. You're right here with me, and you've been hanging out with me, Max T, in the Russian tea room. Myself, the Sofa King, great variety show host, Mad Max, in full effect. I appreciate you. I thank you. I love you guys and gals. Any questions, comments, please feel free to drop them. If you haven't done so already, help help a brother grow, help a channel grow, help a channel that wants to help you grow, and subscribe. And like I said, 500, we get there, we start giving away things. And then we'll do it on a consistent basis as long as we have consistent growth of that. So we will be giving away things, yes, but we got a little bit longer before we get there. Yes. You too, brother. Be good, Mark. We're going to wrap it up here in just a second. I appreciate you very, very much. And, you know, thank you. We'll be on again live. Be on next Wednesday. I'll probably open up this DeWalt or this Rigid, wherever I put it. Maybe Murphy is on it. I don't know. He's weird. He's cool. I'll find it. I'm sure I didn't lose it yet. But anyway, let's call it a wrap for the night. And I thank you, as always, for being the best part of all the days that end in Y. So thank you. Thank you all very much. God bless you. Have a great rest of your evening and a great week. And we'll see you again on the next one. I'm Mad Max, and I'm out. Peace.